I miss her. I miss her so much.
Remembering Lizzie, a mother opens up to News 3 after a heartbreaking weekend. She's talking about her daughter's suicide and the role bullying played in her death.
And we can thank Alberto for the rain we're seeing today. This tropical storm has some meteorologists scratching their heads. We look into why Alberto is such a rare storm.
Keep saying it's the twin thing, and the doctor, anybody you talk to, oh, it must be the twin thing.
The inseparable bond shared by twins lived out through sisters in Boscoville as they enter and leave life together. A story you'll only watch tonight on News 3.
This is News 3 at 6.
A grieving mother is turning her heartache into action tonight after she says her 12-year-old daughter committed suicide this weekend. Rebecca
Coughlin says bullying is to blame and wants to share her daughter's story in hopes of saving someone else's life. Our Rock County reporter Jenna Middaugh spoke with Rebecca today and shares her message. Jenna?
Eric in Charlotte, Rebecca says she wants the Janesville School District to do more to prevent bullying so tragedies like her daughter Elizabeth's death don't happen again.
She was spunky. She was goofy.
But Elizabeth was also hurting. Her mom, Rebecca Coughlin, says students started bullying the 6th grader after her dad died of a drug overdose in 2016.
They were relentless. You should die like your dad died. Your dad died because he thought you were ugly. Your dad died because he didn't want to be around you anymore.
Rebecca says both she and her mother talked to Franklin Middle School about the bullying, but there wasn't enough done.
But I want the kids to understand that their actions have consequences. And this is like the ultimate consequence for me, because I still have to live with the pain of her being gone every day. And I miss my baby.
In a statement, the Janesville School District says while it can't comment on specific cases, school teachers, administrators, and staff would certainly investigate and take action if any bullying in school was reported and substantiated. However, we absolutely need the help of friends, family, and other trusted adults to extend anti-bullying efforts beyond the school day.
I just want everybody to be held accountable. I don't want any more bullying.
Rebecca hopes people learn from Elizabeth's death to treat everyone with kindness.
You shouldn't be tearing anyone down anyway. It doesn't build you up. What builds you up is bringing other people up with you.
The Janesville School District says it has investigated 13 reports of bullying so far this school year, and Rebecca tells me she's thankful for the outpouring of support she's received from the community.
Terrible tragedy. Jenna Middaugh reporting from our Rock County Bureau tonight. Jenna, thank you.
Delays are expected this evening at Milwaukee's General Mitchell Airport. A lightning strike forced a military plane to make an emergency landing there this afternoon. 2 tires were damaged during the landing. No word of anyone on board was hurt. The plane is part of the 128th National Guard Wing, which is based in Milwaukee. The airfield where the plane landed is open again, but anyone flying into or out of Milwaukee should check their flight times. People living on Madison's west side will talk about safety tonight after a deadly crash in their neighborhood. A 72-year-old man died and his wife was severely injured after a car hit them while they walked their dog along Midvale Boulevard last month. There will be trained clinical therapists and a police department representative at Our Lady Queen of Peace tonight. They'll talk about reactions to trauma and how parents can explain a situation like this to their kids. That meeting begins at 7 o'clock and goes until around 9 o'clock.
Tropical weather reaches Wisconsin on this Wednesday. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalta. Gary?
Yeah, some of that moisture from what was once subtropical storm Alberto, but around here, the main result is that we had clouds, we had precipitation, and temperatures are down compared to the last few days. You can see on visible cloud track the circulation of what was once Alberto lifting northward through Indiana, but some of that moisture getting pulled back into Wisconsin, and showers and thunderstorms have been with us all day. You can see the most widespread area of showers and thunderstorms over eastern portions of the state, but there are a couple of narrow lines of showers and isolated thunderstorms moving through southwestern Wisconsin from about the Mississippi River inland. After that, though, it looks like things should probably come to an an end. As far as rainfall amounts are concerned, about a ½ inch to an inch of rain, maybe a little bit more in spots in a north to south swath from around Monroe to Madison to just east of the Dells. Low temperatures this morning because of the humid weather. We started out in the upper 60s. That's almost near our average high temperature for this time of year. Our high temperature, though, in the upper 70s, 79 in Madison. We were in the 90s the last 4 days, so that's been a big change. Current temperatures are still in the upper 70s, a few places in the upper 60s where there has been some rain. By tomorrow morning, look for the shower and thunderstorm chances to end in this evening. Some patchy fog possible overnight with a low of 65. Tomorrow will be very warm and humid again, just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon with a high of 86. That's your First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. And despite being far from the ocean, Alberto still a tropical depression at this hour, and the storm helped Madison continue to climb up the May rainfall charts. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield joining us now with more on just how abnormal Alberto is, Dave.
This is really a special storm, Eric. And Alberto, for one, it formed a week before the official start of hurricane season, and the tropical water vapor was a major factor in this morning's inch-plus of rain in Madison. While remnants of tropical systems do visit Wisconsin occasionally in the summer, most notably in June and August of 2008, where Alberto is located tonight makes it unique.
The discernible circulation of the tropical cyclone is so close to us as it is today. We're seeing an obvious center of the storm just a couple of hundred miles south of us in now northern Indiana. So pretty unbelievable.
And the rain this morning pushed Madison into second place all time for rainiest Mays on record. Now, are tropical depressions in Wisconsin going to be the new normal weather pattern this summer? Martin says it's impossible to say. We'll just have to wait and see. But definitely a wild week of weather across southern Wisconsin, that's for sure.
Crazy looking at that radar and seeing that rotation over.
Yeah, it's right next to us.
Over and down by Chicago.
Exactly.
It's crazy, Dave. Thanks for joining us.
Property owners in southeastern Wisconsin are appealing a ruling dismissing their case. They believe they will not be fully compensated for the land Foxconn Technology Group needs to build a $10 million plant. A dozen property owners filed a lawsuit in January. They allege the Village of Mount Pleasant's use of eminent domain is unconstitutional, and the offers for their properties are too low. A judge dismissed the suit earlier this month.
A bill that would give terminally ill patients access to some experimental medications is now law tonight. Families from Wisconsin joining the president for the bill signing. The measure was championed by Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. It aims to give those with terminal illnesses who don't qualify for clinical trials a way to try some experimental medications that have not yet been approved by the FDA.
What we've done is we've returned a little bit of freedom, restored some hope to terminally ill patients and their families, but it really was their tireless efforts.
Patients will now be able to access drugs that have passed phase 1 of the FDA approval process. In a statement, the FDA says it is ready to implement the legislation in a way that protects patients.
63,000 pounds. That's how much unused medication the state of Wisconsin turned in for National Drug Take-Back Day. The Attorney General made the announcement today during a press conference. He said it's an important step in combating the opioid epidemic. He thanked area law enforcement for putting it together and Fuchs Trucking for carrying the drugs to Indianapolis, where they will be incinerated. This time, the company loaded 3 trailers full. And we caught up with one of the drivers who said he's honored to be making such a difference in the community.
There's no greater feeling than leaving that incinerator with an empty trailer and seeing the smoke coming out of the top of the incinerator and knowing that it's not going anywhere else but there.
The Attorney General said Wisconsin had the 3rd biggest load in the country, more than Minnesota, Michigan, and Iowa combined. What would normally be a time of pain and sadness is mixed with comfort for one Wisconsin family.
Hear about the special bond twins in Boscoville share that spans more than 8 decades. Their story next and only on News 3.
A set of 83-year-old twins who grew up in Boscobel have died within hours of each other.
Their family says the two had a unique bond that turned out to be unbreakable. Amanda Quintana is here with the story of their everlasting sisterhood. Amanda?
Yes, well, it is a twin thing. That is the only explanation that doctors and family members have after the two Boscobel women passed away this weekend. Although their death brings their daughter's sadness, there's a sense of peace that they went together and their lifelong bond was not broken.
They were best friends since birth, when she's yeah, they did everything together.
Marcella and Maxine were born on their family farm in Boscobel, known as the McDowell twins, then later Aunt Marky and Aunt Mickey.
It does show you the amazing life they led.
Their daughters now realizing how strong their bond really was.
I called Nancy and said, "Oh, Mom's in the hospital, she's in critical condition," and Nancy's like, "Oh, we'll be praying for you," and this and that. Hours later, I get a text from her, "We're taking my mom to the ER."
Maxine was admitted to the hospital on Thursday, suffering from pneumonia. Not even 24 hours later, her sister, who had no previous signs of being sick, was sent to the same hospital with the same symptoms in the room right next door.
They just kept saying, "We have never seen this before."
But their families knew it was just their bond. The two worked as nursing assistants together for almost 50 years, lost their husbands together.
They would get home from work after working together and then call each other several times a day.
But a few years ago, Marcella began suffering from dementia, and in a way, Maxine lost her best friend.
Your mom had said, when Mom got dementia and no longer had a phone, said, "This is the first time in 81 years I haven't been able to tell my sister goodnight."
Yeah.
So when the sisters died within hours of each other this weekend, of course their daughters were devastated, but they knew it was the way it was supposed to be.
Because they did everything together their whole lives, it just seemed like the next step.
Yep, it really did.
This would happen.
At the hospital where they passed away in La Crosse, a chime rings when a baby is born. And on Sunday morning, as the families were preparing to lose their mothers, two chimes rang. Gunderson Lutheran Hospital confirms a set of twins were born this past Sunday. So just like the daughters wanted to believe, as their mothers were leaving the world, two other twins were entering.
How can you not get goosebumps from that story?
Yeah, I got a little shiver up my spine when you said that. That is something.
That's bond of sisters, twins.
It's amazing.
Love it.
They always say there's something special between
Definitely
twins.
between those two.
Great story, Amanda. Thanks for sharing
Thank you.
with us. And just ahead, how a massive sewer project could cause some traffic trouble spots on Madison's northeast side.
And if you are looking for a unique job, you might want to head to Milwaukee next month. The Bucks are holding a job fair to fill positions at their new arena. That's next at 6.
Clouds and showers and thunderstorms kept our temperatures down below the 90-degree mark for the first time in 5 days, but we'll see very warm and humid weather return, at least for tomorrow. I'll take a look at our first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
A new $10 million sewer line project is coming to Madison, and it will significantly impact drivers on the city's northeast side once construction starts. It is still unclear where the line will be installed. There are 4 options being considered. 3 of them involve construction along Lean Road. Project managers are working with business owners and homeowners in the area, and community members can share their thoughts as a plan is finalized. The project manager says the goal is to have a route selected by June, with construction starting next summer.
The grand opening of the new Milwaukee Bucks Arena just months away now, and the facility is looking to fill hundreds of jobs there. Around 1,200 employees will be needed next season at the new arena. The Bucks will be hiring half of those positions. The other half will be hired and managed by Levy Restaurants. The Bucks will host a job fair on June 20th, 1 p.m. until 7 p.m. The fair will take place at the Wisconsin Center District. It'll include jobs like ushers, customer service representatives, and security. All part-time jobs start at $12.50 an hour.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is here with a look at your forecast.
Wasn't it nice to not be in the 90s today?
It was.
You know, with
easier.
the humidity, the humidity was still pretty high, and we'll see that again for tomorrow with temperatures back in the 80s. But we will start to see a change in the pattern as we head toward the weekend. Now, in the short term, you can see the remnants of what was once subtropical storm Alberto still moving northward through Indiana. Some of that moisture gets pulled back into Wisconsin, where another weather system is coming in from the west, so that kind of enhanced the shower and thunderstorm activity we had this morning in a north-south line from right through the city of Madison. Now, the eastern portion of the state is where most of the shower and thunderstorm activity is, but to the west, where skies actually broke a little bit to allow some sunshine through, the atmosphere became unstable enough for a few showers and thunderstorms to pop up, mainly over southwestern Wisconsin. These will come through this evening, and then after that, probably most of the rain will be over with. Strongest thunderstorm cell right now just south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. That might track into areas south of Monroe, but no severe weather expected. Maybe some brief heavy downpours and a little bit of small hail that we were seeing from the indication from these storms earlier. Otherwise, our high temperature trend still above normal, but not as warm as we were this past weekend. 86 for high tomorrow, but then upper 70, mid-70s Friday, upper 70s for the weekend, and then low 80s into the early part of next week. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook starts to shift the heat back toward the west. Below normal temperatures expected across Wisconsin and areas to the east. Highest probability over New England, but about a 40% chance of below normal temperatures here. As far as precipitation is concerned, no big weather system is expected. Usually when the west is warm and the east is cool, the upper level winds are from the northwest, and that doesn't bring in a lot of moisture. Above normal precipitation expected over the northern portions of the Great Lakes and down near the Gulf Coast, but much of the country through the nation's midsection probably expecting below normal precipitation. Time lapse from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville shows some showers coming through this morning, and then late in the afternoon, you can see how the clouds started to break up a little bit and allowed a couple of little showers and thunderstorms to pass through. Here's the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam, and you can see how there's a little more sunshine right now. Live view from the WISC Skycam. Skies are mostly cloudy. You can see some showers coming in from the west, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing mostly cloudy skies. Our high temperature today topped out at 79 degrees, and the overnight low temperature was at 68, so a cooler day, but not by much. 65 for the overnight low temperature. Slight chance of an evening shower or thunderstorm, maybe some fog toward morning. Tomorrow's high 86, just an outside chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. Most of the rain moves out tonight. Could see some patchy fog overnight. Partly sunny skies tomorrow. Highs mid-80s with a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Clouds move back in late tomorrow night as winds shift to the northeast and low drops to 60. And notice on Friday those temperatures in the middle 70s. 7 to 10-day forecast keeps high temperatures in the upper 70s for the weekend. Thunderstorm chance late Saturday into Saturday night, ending as a shower on Sunday. And then some shower and thunderstorm chances toward the end of next week.
We're live at Monona Terrace for the 56th annual Madison Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We'll tell you about the 4 new inductees for this year coming up in sports. It looks like the Wisconsin football team will play a game at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Chicago Tribune reports tonight Wisconsin and Northwestern will play at Wrigley Field November 7th, 2020. Northwestern played Illinois at Wrigley Field in a football game back in 2010. Ethan Happ has withdrawn from the NBA draft and will return to Wisconsin for his final season. Happ confirmed his decision this afternoon. He had hinted after his workouts with NBA teams the last couple of weeks that he was leaning toward returning to the Badgers, and has announced that, in fact, he will come back to Madison for his senior season. We're at Monona Terrace tonight for the 56th annual Madison Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. 4 new members going into the Hall of Fame tonight. They include Olympic curler Erica Brown, longtime Madison East wrestling coach Bernie Kane, baseball umpire Ron Crone, and Madison La Follette coach and administrator Paul Swanson. They'll all be going into the Madison Sports Hall of Fame tonight. I'm honored to be the master of ceremonies, and Melissa Kim will be one of the presenters of awards that will be recognizing other sports achievements from around the area over the past calendar year. Madison La Follette's Tyra Turner is headed back to the WIA State Track and Field meet in La Crosse this weekend, but first she stops by here tonight to receive an award for starring in track and softball at the same time. Melissa has more with Tyra Turner.
La Follette senior Tyra Turner is one busy person, playing 5 sports.
Basketball my freshman and sophomore year, volleyball, gymnastics, track, and softball.
Her love of sports all started at age 4, thanks to Mom.
She wanted me to have as many opportunities as I could going into my high school years, so she helped me be involved in everything when I was younger.
And that love of being on a team and competing just took off from there.
I love all of my teams with all my heart. They're some of my best friends I've met playing sports.
This weekend, Tyra will compete for a state title in 4 events, including triple and long jump. Events her coach says she could put up record numbers thanks to her background in another sport.
Gymnastics also helped a lot in those because it's kind of like finding your center of gravity, especially in triple jump, and knowing how your body works.
So how does she manage her time?
I don't ever have a set plan. I kind of just go with the flow, and whatever the day brings, that's kind of how I do it.
But she didn't do it alone. She couldn't have done it without Mom and Dad.
It means so much to me, more than I can even put it in words, to think about everything that they've had to sacrifice and give up, all of those nights that they sacrificed to come and watch me and support me. I can't imagine ever not having them in my life, because they've been such a huge part of all of my success and all my sports and everything that I would be nothing without them.
In Madison, Melissa Kim, News 3 Sports.
And the Brewers closed out their homestand against St. Louis this afternoon. They're down 2-1 in the 7th, and Christian Yelich has another clutch hit. This one is his 7th homer of the season. It ties the game at 2. Little later in the 7th, Orlando Arcia, who was just recalled from the minors earlier in the day, gets the game-winning hit, an RBI single to right to score Jesus Aguilar. Final score, Brewers 3, Cardinals 2, an 8-2 homestand for Milwaukee. A day off tomorrow. Then the Brewers play the White Sox in Chicago Friday night. She's got a lot going on for a Wednesday. But for now, at the Monona Terrace, at the Hall of Fame ceremonies, back to the studio with Charlotte, Eric, and Gary.
All right, Jay, thank you very much. It'll be a great event down there, and Gary's got a final check.
Yeah, kind of steamy out there, but at least the temperatures are down. Right now, 77 here in Madison. That's a little more tolerable with the high humidity. And you see some thunderstorms over eastern Wisconsin and a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms over southwestern portions of the state. Back to 86 tomorrow, just a slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, but a shift in the winds to the northeast drops the temperature back to 76 on Friday and lowers the humidity. Highs upper 70s for the weekend. Thunderstorm chance late Saturday into Saturday night, ending as a few showers on Sunday morning. Dry early next week. Some thunderstorm chances toward the end of next week. Highs mid-70s to the low 80s.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.